Aloha and welcome to Muro's Temple, the podcast, where we explore the deeper work behind our Hawaii location and online platform. I invite you to join me as we return home to your body's feminine wisdom. Aloha friends, and welcome back to another episode of Muro's Temple, the podcast. I thought it would be a great idea today to actually talk about what is Muro's Temple with all of the transitions that have happened so quickly within the last few months of 2023 and how this vision and mission continues to refine itself and crystallize. It would feel really good to just sit with you and percolate on everything that's brewing in the background of Muro's Temple, where things are going, what is being guided to create, and how you perhaps are being called to either be a part of it or perhaps just listen and receive its beautiful frequency through this podcast, through our services, through the content that's created. So let's go ahead and just talk about Muro's Temple. The name itself was initially given before we even opened, and when it first came to me, it was more of a frequency on the multidimensional level. And for those of you that understand energy, you will understand what that means when there's a certain energy that comes into your field, perhaps during a session or perhaps where you're tuning in or your morning meditation. And if you don't work with energy, it's a sensation, almost like an intuitive nudge that takes over. So for me in the beginning, it was something that I had to sit with. I didn't even think about it as being the actual name of a physical space because it was an energy that was teaching me. And so working with so many women during the space and time that I was in Hawaii, I began to work with this energy more intimately, first on the inner plane. And so what that means to me is it was very personal and sacred and very internal. It was an internal process. I sat with it. I learned it, let's say, for lack of better words. I allowed it to be birthed within me without giving it even a name specifically. I never spoke of it. It was something that was just within me. And this is one of the beautiful mysteries of creation, which is not what we're talking about today, but this sensation of something so deep that could not be spoken nor touched or seen at that moment in time. And that was the name Muro's Temple. That was the Muro's frequency. And through the time of being in Hawaii and working with the land and connecting with so much beautiful multidimensional energy there, it was actually during hosting a women's Lemurian retreat that the frequency was anchored into my body. So it was presented to me, and I hope I'm not losing any of you guys. I swear I will keep this short and sweet, specifically on the multidimensional conversation. But it came to me and I felt it. It landed in my body. And if you've ever felt almost like, I don't want to say a lightning strike, but like a little sort of static energy that runs through your body, that's what it felt like. And I knew it was the Muro's frequency. And again, I didn't know what that meant. The mind never actually picked it up. It was the body. And this is how feminine wisdom works. So my body received it at that point. And again, I sat with it for over a year and played with it in sessions, just between me and that energy field. Eventually, I was asked to sort of shapeshift the modality I was taught in and give it the Muro's template on the frequency level. So really now making it official that this is the energy that I'm working with, and now sharing that in the verbal sense, in the content creation, in the marketing. This is being landed in the physical. And so eventually, actually, it happened with the equinox of 2022. It was very clear that it was time to share this frequency with the world. And this is when the message was very clear to change the name of the studio space, really shapeshift the website and shapeshift the platform that was being created in order to hold the Mu Rose frequency, or the Lemurian Rose frequency. So to give it to you in more practical terms, for those of you that are not familiar with Mu or Lemuria, that is an ancient civilization that existed in the area, in the region of the Pacific Ocean. And I write a lot about this in my book, I Am Lemuria. There are also a lot of people all over the world that their memories are awakening to past lifetimes in this area. This is why Hawaii attracts so many beautiful souls and so many people when they arrive, just like me. As soon as my feet hit the land, something just completely overtook my body and spirit and told me, this is your home. And it's just so obvious when those memories awaken in you, you will just know. And that happens actually with a lot of people, even with different parts of the world. So even if you feel so very strongly connected to India or to Asia or to anywhere in the world, this is your soul speaking to you. So for me specifically, it was the land of Hawaii and the ancient land specifically of Mu, or also known as Lemuria. And I'm not going to get into specifics about that, but I can definitely do that in another episode if you're interested. And the rose frequency, that is the path of the divine feminine. And that, again, I write about that shortly in my original book, but I will be writing a lot about that in my upcoming book. And the rose path also awakened within me many, many years ago, at this point, almost 10 years ago. And it was a deep call from the divine feminine. And just to be super clear, I had no words or language or way to explain this while I was living it. So if you're being called to listen to this podcast or some of these series, and you don't have the language to explain your experiences, you actually don't need it. This is a big part of the feminine, and this is why I believe Mu Rose Temple is being birthed at this time, to give a platform to people, and specifically to women who are awakening and having experiences that perhaps don't necessarily have a language around it, that perhaps the mind doesn't really understand, but yet the spirit, the heart, the womb knows. And that knowing is more important than anything else, because that knowing, nobody has to confirm it for you. Nobody has to give it to you. It's already inside you, and it's being birthed within you. And so the rose called me from within. I had never heard of it, didn't have any community around feminine, anything. I wasn't even into this work. And it took me many years to follow the breadcrumbs, to understand that the rose path is a very ancient mystery school and a very ancient mystery lineage. And just to also be practical and demystify, because I know sometimes in this sort of lingo or language, we can get lost in the veils behind what is happening. And one of my paths has been to be very clear and grounded about the work and the lineage that this is being birthed through. So the rose path goes all the way back in time to the beginning of, from my memories, the people of Mu, or the land of Lemuria. And that is, again, specific to my soul lineage. So when my memories awakened of my soul path, they went all the way back to the very beginning of ancient civilization for the human race as we know it. So I'm going in deep. You are totally welcome to take it or leave it. Again, this is something that was birthed within me. So I'm not really seeking confirmation. I'm more sharing a story and a frequency. So perhaps the same iteration of your soul path is birthed within you, if that's something that resonates. Yeah. So lastly, the temple space. So you understand Mu. Mu is the ancient civilization of humanity, and Rose, the ancient lineage of feminine mysteries. And what that means is creation, love, power. These are the foundational aspects of human life. And then we have the word temple, and just in terms of creating a sacred space, a safe space, a space where your heart can open and soften and be held in. This was the purpose of the word temple being brought in. So I always felt like growing up as a dancer and growing up in the professional fitness industry and dance industry, I grew up inside a studio, and I always felt amazing walking through the doors of the studio, yet I yearned for something more. I yearned after class to speak about life and to be held by the women that I spent so much time practicing and training with. And that wasn't the environment. So the aspect of temple came in so that we can go beyond movement, so that we can go beyond our day-to-day experience of upholding our physical bodies and experience and live and move through so much more of the deeper aspects of life. And after opening, due to certain circumstances that was happening at the time, I had the opportunity to actually become a nonprofit organization. And that is also linked to the temple work that we do. So at Rose Temple, we are currently creating a holistic therapy program. And that program is in support of women who have experienced trauma in their lives. And the purpose of the program is to really create a holistic ecosystem to support these women on their healing journey, to really reawaken their feminine and bring back the feminine codes of love and power within them. So this is all just feeling really good in my body. Like I sit with Rose Temple, I'm sitting with the website, I'm sitting with all of the holistic content creations that I'm making for all of you, and it feels like a coming home. It feels like a reclamation of the feminine magic that we're here to reclaim and to create, and the beauty that we have within us, and the power that we're meant to hold, and the love that we're meant and destined to experience. And this is really the purpose of Rose Temple, to create that network, that ecosystem, to hold you in that process of reclaiming those aspects of your feminine. And as I always say, this is not gender-based work, and I talk a lot about that in my mentorships and my courses. This is reclaiming the feminine wisdom of Earth, the heart of Gaia, of life, of universal wisdom and creation. And that is held within all of us. So I hope this finds you well. I hope you are tuning into this Lemurian rose frequency. And from that, to finish off this episode, what has been birthed is, of course, the physical space, of course, the online space, but also the Lemurian rose healing techniques, the Lemurian rose womb healing trainings, and also the Lemurian rose apprenticeship. And that, my friends, will be coming out later this year. And also just to share with you a funny story about how all of this is really real, because the way that it started with me was so in the unseen, let's say, yeah? A lot of it was in the mysteries, was in my inner world, was given through meditation. So for many years, I really thought that this path was going to stay like that. And beautifully enough, through the years and through the process, it has grounded. And one of the beautiful little synchronicities is originally there was only Lemurian crystals that I knew of. And as this frequency was being anchored into my field and into the line of work and into the studio space, what came about was the Lemurian rose crystal. And that wasn't in existence, at least in my consciousness. And I thought it was such a beautiful way for the physical world to confirm what is being planted on earth right now. And I share this with you for the following reason, that all of you, if you're listening to this, you're here to create. And those creations oftentimes can take months, can take years, can take decades for those things to really sit within your being so that they can then move through you in the proper way. And if anything, what is needed in that process is belief and trust that it's real and that it's happening and that it serves a greater purpose that your mind may not understand for a very long time. Like for me, I did not understand any of this for a good 8 years. And I think back and I'm like, wow, that was a long time to sit with this kind of stuff. Again, not having a language for it, just kind of feeling lost within it. But eventually knowing that this will come together. And what you see today has over 10 years of just sitting in that frequency and moving through it and allowing it to land. And to this day, every single day, I receive, meaning I am a student of this frequency. So again, the intention of the Mu Rose frequency, the Lemurian Rose frequency, is to reclaim the feminine power and the feminine love that is here to birth a whole new world based on the principles of divine creation. Okay, my loves, I hope you enjoyed, and I will speak to you soon. Till next time. Mwah. Mahalo for being here with me today. And as usual, if you'd like to learn more about what we do at our Hawaii location or online, explore the courses, the mentorship, or the events, go to www.murosetemple.com. See you soon.